Howdy champs, my name is Mohit, and people, today in this tutorial I'm going to discuss the use of normalize CSS and reset CSS. Most of you possibly have heard what exactly a reset CSS rule is, but maybe you haven't heard what exactly normalize CSS actually does. I'll take you into that. Let me first tell you. Now, I'm sure if you are a web developer, you have by now noticed that your web page or the set of CSS and HTML that you write displays differently in different browsers. It's not consistent, and that happens because every browser has its own default user agent style sheet, has its own CSS, which decides the padding, the line height, the default spacing, the margins, etc. Okay, the font size, how big the H1, H2, H3 elements would be. So how the different elements would behave in a certain browser is inconsistent through the different browsers, and that's actually a big headache for the web developers. I'm sure if you've been with web development for a long time, you must have faced this. Now, normalize CSS and CSS reset rule came into the picture because of this. So what we would do is we would use a CSS reset style sheet and reduce the browser inconsistencies in things like default line heights, margins, paddings, font sizes of headings, etc. But you see, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely okay to to leave some styling in, just like that, and not reset each and every element. You see, that'll save us a lot of time and energy later on, because if you unstyle everything through the CSS reset style sheet, you need to then style it back. You then need to apply the let's say the padding and the margins back to some elements. So the answer actually lies with normalize CSS. So it's a normalized CSS is a small CSS file that provides a better solution to us. We would get better cross-browser consistency in the default settings of the HTML elements. It's HTML5 ready. It's an alternative to the old and traditional CSS reset rule. So normalized CSS is the byproduct of many hours of research by Nicholas and John Neal. They spent a lot of time, and they came up with the normalized CSS. This tutorial actually does nothing, but I'm gonna give you the minified version of the normalize CSS and the Eric Meyer's one of the most popular reset rule, which is out here. So these two CSS files will be available as a free download from my website, which is http://qualitylessons.net/downloads1. You'll be able to download the CSS reset CSS as well as the minified version of the normalized CSS. Right, so as we have just discussed, the normalized CSS saves you time and energy. You don't need to unstyle everything. You just need to leave certain elements just the way they are, and unstyle only a few elements. So you see out here the article element, the aside, the details, etc., 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 have the display properties set to block. The audio, the canvas, and the video elements have the display set to inline block. So as I have said, after many hours of research done by Nicholas and John Neal, this minified version was written, and you can get it from my website, one that I've talked about a couple of minutes ago. And this is the CSS. Again, both these files don't have a copyright, they are in public domain, right? So as you can see, the elements HTML, body, div, span, etc., etc., have a margin set to 0, the padding set to 0, the border set to 0, the font size set to 100%, font inherit, and vertical align baseline. So this is the very popular and famous reset rule written by Eric Meyer, and this is the normalize CSS minified version. Alright, so also guys, since you'll be downloading these files and using them as an external CSS file using the link tag, that is the way you should make sure that this is the first rule of among all the other CSS rules that you'll be writing a little later. That's very important. Alright, so I wind this tutorial right here, letting you know that both CSS reset style sheet and the normalized CSS were written to counter or neutralize browser inconsistencies in things like line height, margins, padding, font sizes, etc. Alright, so use them and see whether it works for you or not. It sure should. I hope you like this tutorial guys, and I hope I'll see you very soon. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.